Hello, welcome to Anshika's Academy. This is a series of Tamilnadu Board History first year, and this is chapter number 16, Delhi Sultanate. There are mainly 6 topics that we will cover in this video. First, political history of Delhi Sultanate. Second, slave dynasty, Aibak, Iltutmish, Rajia and Balban. Third, Khilji, Alauddin Khilji's achievements. Fourth, Tughlaqs, Muhammad bin Tughlaq and his experiments. 5, Firoz Tughlaq and his administration. 6, Sayyid and Lodhis. The Muslim invasions into India and ultimately resulted in the establishment of Delhi Sultanate, which existed from AD 1206 से 1526. Five different dynasties, the Slave, Khilji, Tughlaq, Sayyid and Lodhis ruled under the Delhi Sultanate. Not only they extended their rule over North India, but also they penetrated into the Deccan and South India. Their rule in India resulted in far-reaching changes in society, administration and cultural life. Slave dynasty. The slave dynasty was also called Mamaluk dynasty. Mamaluk was a Quranic term for slave. The slave dynasty ruled Delhi from AD 1206 से 90. In fact, the 3 dynasties were established during this period. They were Qutubi dynasty 1206 से 11 founded by Qutbuddin Aibak. First Ilbari dynasty 1211 से 1266 founded by Iltutmish. Second Ilbari dynasty 1266 से 1290 founded by Balban. कुतुबुद्दीन ऐबक 1206 से 1210 कुतुबुद्दीन ऐबक 1206 से 1210 Qutbuddin Aibak was a slave of Muhammad Ghori who made him the governor of his Indian possessions. He set up his military headquarters at Indraprastha near Delhi. He raised a standing army and established his hold over North India even during the lifetime of Ghori. After the death of Ghori in 1206, Aibak declared his independence. He severed all connections with the kingdom of Ghori and thus founded the slave dynasty as well as the Delhi Sultanate. He assumed the title Sultan and made Lahore his capital. His rule lasted for a short period of 4 years. Muslim writers call Aibak Lakh Baksh or giver of lakhs because he gave liberal donations to them. Aibak patronized the great scholar Hasan Nizami. He also started the construction of, after the name of famous Sufi saint Khwaja Qutbuddin Bakhtiyar. It was later completed by Iltutmish. Aibak died suddenly while playing Chogan horse polo in 1210. He was succeeded by his son Aram Baksh, who was replaced by Iltutmish after 8 months. Iltutmish 1211 से 1236. Iltutmish belonged to the Ilbari tribe and hence his dynasty was named as Ilbari dynasty. His half-brother sold him as a slave to Aibak, who made him his son-in-law by giving his daughter in marriage to him. Later, Aibak appointed him as a Iqtidar of Gwalior in 1211. Iltutmish defeated Aram Baksh and became Sultan. He shifted his capital from Lahore to Delhi. During the first 10 years of his reign, he concentrated on securing his throne from his rivals. In the meantime, Temujin, popularly known as Genghis Khan, the leader of Mongols, started invading Central Asia. He defeated Jalaluddin Mangzabarni, the ruler of Khwarizm. Mangzabarni crossed the river Indus and sought asylum from Iltutmish. Iltutmish refused to give him shelter in order to save his empire from the onslaught of the Mongols. Fortunately for Iltutmish, Genghis Khan returned home without entering into India. In fact, the Mongol policy of Iltutmish saved India from the wrath of Genghis Khan. Iltutmish marched against Bengal and Bihar and reasserted his control over them. He also annexed Sindh and Multan into the Delhi Sultanate. He suppressed the Rajput revolts and recovered Ranthambore, Jalore, Ajmer and Gwalior. He led an expedition against the Parmaras of Malwa, but it was not successful. Iltutmish was a great statesman. He received the Mansur, the letter of recognition from the Abbasid Caliphate in 1229, by which he became the legal sovereign ruler of India. Later, he nominated his daughter Razia as his successor. Thus, the hereditary succession to Delhi Sultanate was initiated by the Iltutmish. He patronized many scholars and a number of Sufi saints came to India during his reign. Minhaj-e-Siraj, Tajuddin, Nizamul Mulk, Muhammad Jinadai, Malik Malik Kutubuddin Hassan and Fakhrul Mulk Isami were his contemporary scholars who added grandeur to his court. Apart from completing the construction of Qutub Minar at Delhi, at the tallest stone tower in India, those 40 feet, he built a magnificent mosque at Ajmer. Iltutmish introduced the Arabic coinage into India, and the silver tanka weighing 175 grams became a standard coin in medieval India. The silver tanka remained the basis of the modern rupee, and Iltutmish had also created a new class of ruling elite of 40 powerful military leaders, the 40. Razia 1237 से 40. Although Iltutmish nominated his daughter Razia as his successor, the Qazi of Delhi and Wazir put Ruknuddin Firoz on the throne. When the governor of Multan revolted, Ruknuddin marched to suppress that revolt. Using the opportunity, Razia, with the support of armies of Delhi, seized the throne of Delhi Sultanate. She appointed an Abyssinian slave, Yaqut, as master of royal horses. Also, Razia discarded the female apparel and held the court with her face unveiled. She even went for hunting and led the army. This aroused resentment among the Turkish nobles. In 1240, Sultania, the governor of Batinda, revolted against her. She went in person to suppress the revolt, but Altunia killed Yaqut and took Razia prisoner. In the meantime, the Turkish nobles put Brahman Bahram, another son of Iltutmish, on the throne. However, Razia won over his captor Altunia, and after marrying him proceeding to Delhi, but she was defeated and killed. The fall of Razia paved the way for the ascendancy of the 40. In the next 6 years, Brahman, Bahram and Masood ruled Delhi. There ensued a struggle for supremacy between the sultans and the nobles. In 1246, Balban succeeded in putting Nasiruddin Muhammad, a younger son of Iltutmish, as sultan. Era of Balban 1246 से 1287. Gayasuddin Balban, who was also known as Ulugh Khan, served as Nayab or regent to Sultan Nasiruddin Muhammad. He also strengthened his position by marrying his daughter to the Sultan. Balban was all powerful in the administration, but he had to face the intrigues of his rivals in the royal court. He had overcome all the difficulties. In 1266, Nasiruddin Muhammad died without issues, and Balban ascended the throne. Balban's experience as the regent made him to understand the problems of Delhi Sultanate. He knew that the real threat to the monarchy was from the nobles called the 40. He was convinced that only by enhancing the power of authority of the monarchy he could face the problems. According to Balban, the Sultan was God's shadow on earth and the recipient of divine grace. Balban introduced rigorous court discipline and new customs such as prostration and kissing the Sultan's feet to prove his superiority over the nobles. He also introduced the Persian festival of Nowruz to impress the nobles and people. With his wealth and power, he stood forth as the champion of Turks nobility. At the same time, he did not share power with other nobles. Indian Muslims were not given important posts in the government. He appointed spies to monitor the activities of the nobles. Balban was Balban was determined to break the power of the 40, the Turkish nobles. He spared only the most obedient nobles and eliminated all others by fair or foul means. Malik Bak, the governor of Badaun, was publicly flogged for his cruelty towards his servants. Haibat Khan, the governor of Awadh, was also punished for killing a man who was drunk. Sher Khan, the governor of Batinda, was poisoned. Instead of expand his kingdom, Balban paid more attention to the restoration of law and order. He established a separate military department, Diwan-e-Aj, and reorganized the army. The outskirts of Delhi were often plundered by the Mewadis. Balban took severe action against them and prevented such robberies. Robbers were mercilessly pursued and put to death. As a result, the roads became safe for travel. In 1779, Tughril Khan, the governor of Bengal, revolted against Balban. It was suppressed and he was beheaded. In the northwest, the Mongols reappeared and Balban sent his son Prince Muhammad against them, but the prince was killed in the battle and it was a moral blow to the Sultan. Balban died in 1287. He was undoubtedly one of the main architects of Delhi Sultanate. He enhanced the power of the monarchy. However, he could not fully safeguard India from the Mongol invasion. When Balban died, one of his grandsons, Kaikubad, was made the Sultan of Delhi. After 4 years of incompetent rule, Jalaluddin Khilji captured the Delhi throne in 1290. The Khilji dynasty 1290 से 1320. The advent of Khilji dynasty marks the zenith of Muslim imperialism in India. The founder of Khilji dynasty was Jalaluddin Khilji. He was 70 years old, and when he came to power, he was generous and lenient. Malik Chhajju, nephew of Balban, was allowed to remain the governor of Kara. His leniency was misunderstood as weakness. When Chhajju revolted, he was suppressed, but he was pardoned. When the Turks robbers looted the country, they were allowed to go after a severe warning. In 1292, when Malik Chhajju revolted for the second time, he was replaced by his son-in-law Alauddin Khilji. In 1296, Alauddin Khilji took an expedition to Devgiri and returned to Kara. During the reception there, Alauddin Khilji treacherously murdered his father-in-law Jalaluddin Khilji and usurped the throne of Delhi. Alauddin Khilji 1296 से 1316. Alauddin Khilji made enormous gifts to the holistic nobles and amirs of Delhi to win over them to his side. Those who still opposed him, assassins, were punished severely. He framed regulations to control the nobles. He was convinced that the general prosperity of the nobles, intermarriages between noble families, insufficient supply system, and drinking liquor were the basic reasons for the rebellion. Therefore, he passed 4 ordinances. He confiscated the properties of nobles. The intelligence system was reorganized, and all the secret activities of the nobles were immediately reported to the Sultan. The public sale of liquor and drugs was totally stopped. Social gatherings and festivities without the permission of Sultan were forbidden. By such harsh measures, his reign was free from rebellion. Reforms of Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji maintained a large permanent standing army and paid them in cash from the royal treasury. According the Farishta, he recruited 4,75,000 cavalrymen. He introduced the system of dark branding of horses and prepared Hulia descriptive list of soldiers in order to ensure maximum efficiency. A strict review of army from time to time was carried out. The introduction of paying salaries in cash to the soldiers led to price regulations popularly called as market reforms. Alauddin Khilji established 4 separate markets in Delhi, one for grain, another for cloth, sugar, dried fruits, butter and oil, a third for horses, slaves and cattle, and a fourth for miscellaneous commodities. Each market was under the control of a high officer called Shahana Mandi. The supply of grain was ensured by holding stocks in government storehouses. Regulations were issued to fix the price of all commodities. A separate department called Diwani Riots was created under an officer called Naib Riyasat. Every merchant was registered under the market department. There were secret agents called Munhiyans who sent reports to the Sultan regarding the functioning of these markets. The Sultan also sent slave boys to buy various commodities to check prices. Violation of regulations was severely punished. Harsh punishments was given if any shopkeeper charged a higher price. He tried to cheat by using false weights and measures. Even during the famine, same price was maintained. We are not sure whether the market regulations in Delhi were also applied in the provincial capitals and towns. Apart from market reforms, Alauddin Khilji took important steps in the land revenue administration. He was the first Sultan of Delhi who ordered for the measurement of land. Even the big landlords could not escape from paying land tax. Land revenue was collected in cash in order to enable the Sultan to pay the soldiers in the cash. His land revenue reforms provided a basis for the future reforms of Sher Shah and Akbar military campaigns. Alauddin Khilji sent him Alauddin Khilji sent his army 6 times against the Mongols. The first two were successful, but the third Mongol invader Khwaja came up to Delhi, but they were prevented from entering into the capital city. The next three Mongol invasions were also dealt with severely. Thousands of Mongols were killed. The northwestern frontier was fortified, and Ghazi Malik was appointed to as the warden of marches. To protect the frontier, the military conquest of Alauddin Khilji included his expedition against Gujarat, Mewar, and the Deccan. He sent Nusrat Khan and Ulugh Khan to capture Gujarat in 1299. The king and his daughter escaped while the queen was caught and sent to Delhi. Kafur and Ulanch was also taken to Delhi, and later he was made to the Malik Naib military commander. Then in 1301, Alauddin marched against Ranthambore, and after 3 months siege it failed. The Rajput women committed Johar or self-immolation. Alauddin next turned against Chittor. It was the powerful state in Rajasthan. The, the siege the siege lasted for several months. In 1310, Alauddin stormed the Chittor fort. Raja Ratan Singh and his soldiers fought valiantly but submitted. The Rajput women, including Rani Padmini, performed Johar. This Padmini episode was graphically mentioned in the book Padmavat written by Jaya C. Alauddin Khilji's greatest achievement was the conquest of Deccan and the far south. This region was ruled by four important dynasties: Yadavas of Devgiri, Kakatiyas of Warangal, Hoysalas of Dwarsamudra, and the Pandyas of Madurai. Alauddin sent Malik Kafur. Against the ruler of Devgiri, Ramchandra Dev, who submitted and paid rich tributes in 1309. Malik Kafur launched his campaign against Warangal. Its ruler Pratap 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 Rudra Dev was defeated. An enormous booty was collected from him. Malik Kafur's next target was the Hoysala ruler Veer Bhallal III. He was defeated, and a vast quantity of booty was seized and sent to Delhi. Kafur next marched against the Pandyas. Veer Pandya Veer Pandya fled the capital Madurai, and Kafur seized enormous wealth from the Pandya kingdom and returned to Delhi. Alauddin Khilji died in 1316. Although the Sultan was illiterate, he patronized poets like Amir Khusro and Amir Hassan. He also built a famous gateway known as the Lai Darwaza and constructed a new capital at Siri. Mubarak Shah and Khusro Shah were the successors of Alauddin Khilji. Ghazi Malik, the governor of Dipalpur, killed the Sultan Khusro Shah and ascended the throne of Delhi under the title of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq in 1320. The Tughlaq dynasty 1320 से 1414. The founder of the Tughlaq dynasty was Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq sent his son Juna Khan to fight against Warangal. He defeated Pratap Rudra and returned with rich booty. Ghiyasuddin laid the foundation for Tughlaqabad near Delhi. Ulugh Khan was said to have treacherously killed his father and ascended the throne with the title Muhammad bin Tughlaq in 1325. Muhammad bin Tughlaq 1325 से 1351. He was a very attractive character in the history of medieval India owing to his ambitious schemes and novel experiments. His enterprises and novel experiments ended in miserable failures because they were all far ahead of their time. He was very tolerant in religious matters. He maintained diplomatic relations with far-off countries like Egypt, China, and Iran. He also introduced many liberal and beneficial reforms, but all his reforms failed. Contemporary writers like Isami Bani and Ibn Battuta were unable to give a correct picture about his personality, but Muhammad bin Tughlaq was the only Delhi Sultanate and only Delhi Sultan who had received a comprehensive literary, religious, and philosophical education. Transfer of capital. Muhammad bin Tughlaq wanted to make Devgiri his second capital so that he might be able to control South India better. In 1327, he made extensive preparations for the transfer of royal household and ulemas and Sufis from Delhi to Devgiri, which was renamed as Daulatabad. When they resisted, the Sultan enforced his orders ruthlessly and caused greatly hardship of the population of Delhi. The distance between these two places was more than 15 kilometers. Many people died during the rigorous journey in the summer. After 2 years, the Sultan abandoned Dolatabad and asked them to return to Delhi. Token currency. In 1329 से 30 Muhammad bin Tughlaq introduced a token currency. There was a shortage of silver throughout of the world in the 14th century. Kublai Khan issued paper money in China. In the same manner, Muhammad bin Tughlaq issued copper coins at par with the value of the silver tanka coins. But he was not able to prevent forging the new coins. The goldsmith began to forge the token coins on a large scale. Soon the new coins were not accepted in the markets. Finally, Muhammad bin Tughlaq stopped the circulation of token currency and promised to exchange silver coins for the copper coins. Many people exchanged the new coins, but the treasury became empty. According to Bani, the heap of copper coins remained lying on roadside in Tughlaqabad. Taxation in Doab. The failure of these two experiments affected the prestige of the Sultan, and enormous money was wasted in order to overcome financial difficulties. Muhammad bin Tughlaq increased the land revenue on the farmers of Top. Land between Ganges and Yamuna rivers, it was an excessive and arbitrary tax on the farmers. A severe famine was also ravaging that region at that time. It had resulted in a serious peasant revolts. They fled from the villages, but Muhammad bin Tughlaq took harsh measures to capture and punish them. The revolts were crushed. Agricultural reforms. However, the Sultan realized that later that advocate relief measures and the promotion of agriculture were the real solution to the problem. He launched a scheme by which the Kavi loans for cultivation, were given to the farmers to buy seed and to extend cultivation. A separate department for agriculture, Diwan-e-Kohi, was established. Model farm under the estate was created in an area of 64 square miles, for which the government spent 70 lakh tankas. This experiment was further continued by Firoz Tughlaq. Rebellions. The later part of Muhammad bin Tughlaq's reign witnessed a spate of rebellions by the nobles and provincial governors. The rebellion of Hasan Shah resulted in the establishment of Madurai Sultanate. In 1336, the Vijayanagar kingdom was founded. In 1336, Vijayanagar kingdom was founded. In 1347, Bahmani kingdom was established. The governors of Awadh, Multan, and Sindh revolted against the authority of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. In Gujarat, Thagi rose a revolt against the Sultan, who spent nearly 3 years in chasing him. Muhammad bin Tughlaq's health became worse and he died in 1351. According to Badayuni, the Sultan was freed from his people and people from the Sultan. According to Bani, Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a mixture of opposites. His reign marked the beginning of the process of its decline. Firoz Tughlaq 1351 से 1388. After the death of Muhammad bin Tughlaq in 1351, Firoz Tughlaq had the unique distinction of being chosen as sultan by the nobles. He appointed Khan-e-Jahan Makbal, a Telugu Brahmin convert, a Wazir Prime Minister. The Wazir helped the Sultan in his administration and maintained the prestige of the Sultanate during this period. Military campaigns. After his accession, Firoz had to face the problem of preventing the disintegration of the Delhi Sultanate. He tried to safeguard his authority over North India instead of reasserting his authority over the Deccan and South India. He led 2 expeditions to Bengal, but they were not successful. Bengal became free from the control of Delhi Sultanate. Firoz led a campaign against Jahangir, modern Orissa. He returned administrative reform. The reign of Firoz Tughlaq was more notable for his administration. He strictly followed the advice of ulemas in running the administration. He pleased the nobles and assured hereditary succession to their properties. Thus, the Iqta system was not only revived but also it was made hereditary. As per the Islamic law, he levied the taxes. Jizya was strictly imposed on non-Muslims. He was the first sultan to impose irrigation tax, but at the same time he dug irrigation canals and wells. The longest canal was about 200 kilometers from Satluj to Hansi. Another canal was between Yamuna and Hisar. There were about 1200 fruit gardens in and around Delhi, yielding more revenue. The special tax on 28 items was abolished by him. Since they were against the Islamic law, he also developed royal factories called Karkhanas, in which thousands of slaves were employed. About 300 new towns were built during his reign. The famous among them was Firozabad near Red Fort in Delhi, now called Firoz Shah Kotla. Old monuments like Jama Masjid and Qutub Minar were also repaired. A new department called Kherat a new department called Diwane Khairat was created to take care of orphans and widows. Free hospitals and marriages bureaus for poor Muslims were also. A new department called Diwane Khairat was created to take care of orphans and widows. Free hospitals and marriages bureaus for poor Muslims were also abolished. Firoz patronized scholars like Barni and Afif. As he was guided by the ulemas, he was intolerant towards Shia Muslims and Sufis. He treated Hindus as second-grade citizens and imposed jizya. In this respect, he was the precursor of Sikandar Lodi and Aurangzeb. He increased the number of slaves by capturing the defeated soldiers and prisoners. Young persons in his regime, the number of slaves had increased to 1,80,000. When Firoz died in 1380, the struggle for power between the Sultan and the nobles started once again. His successors had to face the rebellion of the slaves created by Firoz. In the following years, Delhi Sultanate had disintegrated further. Many provinces like Malwa and Gujarat declared their independence. The invasion of Timur in 1398 worsened the situation. When Temur entered Delhi, there was no opposition, and he sacked Delhi for 3 days, murdering thousands of people and looting enormous wealth. He withdrew from India in 1399, and his invasion, in fact, delivered in death below the Tughlaq dynasty. Says 1414 से 1451. Before his departure from India, Temur appointed Khizr Khan as governor of Multan. He captured Delhi and founded the Sayyid dynasty in 1414. He tried to consolidate the Delhi Sultanate, but in vain. He died in 1421 and was succeeded by his son Mubarak Shah Muhammad Shah, Muhammad Shah, who succeeded him, was always busy against conspirators and gradually lost control over his nobles. Bahlol Khan Lodi dominated everything. Muhammad Shah died in 1445 and was succeeded by his son Alam Shah 1445-51. The weakest of the Sayyid prince, he handed over the throne to Bahlol Lodi and retired to Badau. Lodis 1451 से 1526. The Lodis who succeeded Sayyeds were Afghans. Bahlol Lodi was the first Afghan ruler, while the predecessors were all Turks. He died in 1489 and was succeeded by his son Sikandar Lodi. Sikandar Lodi 1489 से 1517 was the greatest of the three Lodi sovereigns. He brought the whole of Bihar under his control. Many Rajput chiefs were defeated. He attacked Bengal and forced its ruler to conclude a treaty with him and extended his empire from Punjab to Bihar. He was a good administrator. Roads were cleared and many irrigational facilities were provided for the benefit for the peasantry. Despite certain laudable qualities, he was a big bigot. He destroyed many Hindu temples and imposed many restrictions on the Hindus. Yet he was one of the great Lodi Sultan who made the Sultanate strong and powerful. Sikandar Lodi was succeeded by his eldest son Ibrahim Lodi, who was arrogant. He insulted his nobles openly in court and humiliated them. Those nobles who revolted were put to death. His own uncle Alauddin revolted. Daulat Khan Lodi, the governor of Punjab, was insulted, and disaffections between king and courtier became very common. Greatly displeased by the arrogance of Ibrahim, Daulat Khan Lodi invited Babur to invade India. Babur marched against Delhi and defeated and killed Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle of Panipat 1526. The Afghan kingdom lasted for only 75 years. Political learning outcomes of this chapter. Political history of Delhi Sultanate from 1206 से 1526 AD. The rulers of slave dynasty Aibak, Iltutmish, Rajia, Balban and their achievements. Khilji dynasty Alauddin Khilji's military achievements and reforms. Tughlaq dynasty Muhammad bin Tughlaq's achievements and his administrative experiments. Firoz Tughlaq and his administration, Sayyids and Lodis, and the decline of Delhi Sultanate. Thanks for watching.